So hello friends, hello students. See, this is going to be my fourth lecture, and this fourth lecture is primarily based upon the miscellaneous issues of Indian economy. So let me first of all welcome to all of you to the new, of course, project of Amit Sinha IAS Academy, and this is an online initiative that I have launched myself, Amit Sinha, and of course, I'm going to discuss with all of you some of the significant issues of Indian economy, which are, of course, categorized as miscellaneous issues, and those issues actually have the potential to be asked to you as a question in 2020 prelims of UPSC. So let me explain to all of you that what all issues are going to be discussed today. See, the first issue that we have to discuss is the Vadhavan port. Now, Vadhavan port is the 13th major port that is going to be developed in Maharashtra with a huge investment of somewhere around more than 65,000 crore of rupees. Now, in Maharashtra, we're going to have 13th major port in our country. All right, and can you, if you can see the map that I have already drawn to actually make it very simple for all of you. See, already we are having 12 major seaports in India, and those 12 major seaports are equally divided into, of course, coasts, western and eastern both. Now, if you look at the western, of course, coast of India, the ports start from Gujarat, that is Kandla port, and of course it is followed by Mumbai port. And then in Mumbai also we have another port, that is JNPT, this is Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. So JNPT port, which is considered to be the biggest port in India, and also one of the largest ports in the world, that is somewhere on 28th rank in the global port ranking has been given to JNPT of Mumbai. So in Mumbai we have two ports, Mumbai port and JNPT port, and the third port in Maharashtra that is coming up, it is Vadhavan port. Now Vadhavan port is coming up as the third major port in Maharashtra. Fine. Then we have Marmagaon, of course, in Goa. Then we have Mangaluru, of course, in Karnataka. Then we have Kochi, of course, in Kerala. And then we have Tuticorin, that is on eastern coast. That is on eastern coast, of course, it is in Tamil Nadu. And then you follow this with Tuticorin, you have Chennai. Then from Chennai you have Ennore, and Ennore port is also known as Kama Rajar port. Kama Rajar port is also the name of Ennore port. Similarly, Tuticorin port is known as VO Chittambaram port. Fine. So Kama Rajar port is in Ennore, that is in Tamil Nadu only. So in Tamil Nadu also we were having Ennore, Chennai and Tuticorin. So in Tamil Nadu we were having three ports. Similarly in Maharashtra now we are going to have three ports. All right. Then we have Visakhapatnam or Vizag, that is another port in the eastern coast. Then it is followed by Paradip, of course, in Odisha. And then we have Kolkata port, that is the Haldia port. All right. So we were having 6 ports on the eastern coast and 6 ports on the western coast. Now we are going to have Vadhavan port, that is the 13th major port and the 7th port on the western coast of India. Alright, this Vadhava port is being developed by the government of India because of multiple reasons, but one primary reason is that the total capacity of the ports nearby Mumbai and Mumbai area is not more than 18 TEU. Now see, the port capacity is measured in this particular, of course, instrument, that is TEU, so 20-foot equivalent unit. So this is the unit to measure the port capacity in the world. So according to the TEU, of course, the maximum capacity in Maharashtra, including both Mumbai and JNP ports, is not more than 18 million TEU. Whereas the requirement is of more than 25 million TEUs. So the government has set a target to raise this particular capacity of port handling in Maharashtra by 25 million TEUs by 2030. Alright, and therefore the Vadhava port is being developed in Maharashtra. Now that is one particular fact that we have to always keep in our mind. Second fact is that Vadhava port is being developed under the landlord model of infrastructural project. So landlord model of infrastructure project is very simple. Of course, the entire port will be owned by the government only, but the handling, of course, the monitoring of the port exercises will be given into the hands of a private player. So just like a relation between a landlord and a tenant. So the landlord here will be, of course, the government of India, but the tenant would be the private sector who are going to operate the Vadhavan port in Maharashtra. So this is the significance of this landlord model of public-private partnership model of infrastructure. Fine. So that is going to be developed there in the Maharashtra very soon. So this is a latest information that actually came up in, of course, on around 20th February in 2020. So this is one of the part of your current affairs segment. Then let's get into the next one, that is Libera. Now Libera is another important issue. See, in the light of the recent verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court in the context of digital currency, where the ban or complete blanket ban on digital currency has been lifted by the Supreme Court, obviously such kind of digital currency is going to be very, very important for this year's prelims as well. So Libera has already been announced to be a digital currency. Of course, it is going to be launched by Facebook in 2020. Alright, so in 2020 Facebook has announced to launch a digital currency, that is Libera. So that is the significance of Libera as a digital currency. So the digital currency you all have to be thorough with in the light of the recent verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court on the concept of digital currency in India and the RBI's blanket ban on digital currency in India. So therefore this issue is important for all of you. Fine. So that is the Libera concept. Then coming to the next one, that is GAFA tax. Now GAFA tax is a tax that actually has been imposed by the government of France. So France or the French government has imposed GAFA tax. Now this is a tax that is going to be imposed, that actually has been imposed upon the, of course, the internet world, basically the companies which are working on the basis of internet, of course, functioning, especially like Google, Apple, Facebook. So Google, Apple, Facebook, so these all are going to be taxed, including even companies like Amazon. So Google, Apple, Facebook and Amazon, now these all companies are going to be taxed by the French government, announced recently, that is the 3% tax of the total transaction will be charged by the French government. Now this is a latest development in the European nations, or in the list of the European countries introduced by France. Of course, after the successful introduction of GAFA tax on the international internet giants companies like Google, of course Apple, Facebook, Amazon, even countries like Spain, Italy, now they all are contemplating to impose similar kind of taxes on these big companies to raise resources and revenue for their government. Now see, India has already introduced such kind of tax in 2016, that is Equalization Levy Act. So in 2016, if you can see, the government of India had launched equalization levy tax in 2016 from the digital companies which actually conducts the online transactions and online commercial activities. So business to business commercial activities, of course, in India has already been taxed by the government of India in the context of equalization levy 2016. That is business to business transactions. That is basically taxed in India. Between the two companies, transactions, online transactions taxed in India. So this is what actually has been done by the government of India already. Now on the line of the government of India, of course, GAFA tax has been also launched by the government of France. That is the significance of GAFA tax. Fine. Now the last miscellaneous issue for all of you is the Nobel Prize in Economics. Now this is a very, I would say, talked about concept of Nobel Prize in Economics, especially in the context of the person from Indian background has won a Nobel Prize in economics, and that is something very significant for all of us. So we all are very much aware of the names like Abhijit Banerjee. Of course, the wife of Abhijit Banerjee is Esther Duflo. So Abhijit Banerjee. So Abhijit Banerjee, Esther Duflo, and Michael Kramer. And Michael Kramer, or I can write over here if you are unable to say this. Michael Kramer, let me write it over here. Michael Kramer, he belonged to Harvard University. And these two scholars, they belong to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, that is MIT. So from MIT, Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo belong, and of course Michael Kramer belongs to Harvard University, of course of US, and from there only they have won the of course Nobel Prize in Economics in 2019, and their work has been on the issue of understanding the practical aspect of the poverty. So the practical aspect of the poverty and how the poverty alleviation measures have been undertaken by respective governments of the world. So global poverty alleviation programs have been studied by these three scholars, and due to which they have been, of course, designated as the winners of Nobel Prize in Economics in 2019. So you need to be thorough with the Nobel Prize in Economics of course last few years. So the list of that should be reviewed by all of you, expecting a question also in Prelims 2020 by UPSC on the issue of Nobel Prize in Economics. I believe that many of you must be aware of that this particular prize started in in the world only in 1968. It is also known as the Severiks-Riksbank Prize. So Severiks-Riksbank Prize is also known as Nobel Prize in Economics, which began in the world only in 1968. Whereas all the other Nobel Prize had already been launched in the early 20th century itself. That's what actually is the fact about Nobel Prize in Economics. Fine. So this is how these some miscellaneous issues which I consider, of course, very, very important from the examination point of view, because there are, let's say, hundreds of issues, but all the hundreds of issues can't be focused so, I would say, so deeply that you can remember each and every fact. My simple observation is that whatever topics that we have discussed in the last 3 lectures and this lecture, you have to cover the entire issues surrounding to these topics. And I'm sure, definitely sure, that out of this, let's say 18-20 topics that we have discussed in these 4 lectures, in these 4 videos, I'm sure you will get at least 6 to 7 questions in prelims for sure. So just work upon these 18-20 topics comprehensively and see your performance in the examination of 2020 prelims. Alright. So thank you. I'll come again with the next video on some different subject other than even Indian economy. So we are going to discuss about various other subjects in our subsequent lectures, specifically in the context of only the very, very important topics for 2020 prelims. Alright. So till then, of course, goodbye, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.